What occurred last night on an icy, cold night in Edmonton following a snowstorm was something I honestly thought I was never going to witness in my life. Canada beats Mexico on home soil in the final round of the Concacaf World Cup qualifiers, moving us into first place. First in Concacaf, first place in the octagonal, and on a warpath towards Qatar. In front of 44,000 fans at Commonwealth Stadium, labeled for the day the Azteca, with big-ass snowbanks lining the sides. Canada won 2-1 against Mexico in front of myself and thousands of others. And the previous Friday against Costa Rica, they won 1-0, winning 2 matches, going undefeated, staying undefeated, winning both matches in a window for the first time this World Cup qualifying window, closing out the year with so many big records in the books. Most goals scored by a national team in the calendar year in 2021. That's Canada. Atiba Hutchinson with the start against Mexico set the all-time cap record for the Canadian men's team with 90, and Kyle Larin, he closes out the year with 14 goals in 13 appearances for Canada. Yes, Kyle Larin scored at more than a goal per game this year for Canada, and he, with that 2-goal performance last night, tied the legendary Dwayne De Rosario for most goals ever scored for the Canadian national team. What an incredible set of nights. I can't even properly yell right now. My voice is completely gone. That's why this video isn't as loud as you probably were thinking it was going to be, because last night I was losing my damn mind at that match. It was one of the most incredible atmospheres, probably the most incredible sporting atmosphere I have ever been to, topping the game against the US back in 2019 in the Nations League where they won 2-0 at BMO Field, and topping in that same week, I saw TFC's 4-goal overtime against DC United. That was absolutely incredible. That right there was my previous biggest scenes I'd been to at a soccer match, and it just got topped by so much at this game. This was absolutely incredible. I never thought I would see this in my life. I honestly never thought that the Canadian national team would be looking at World Cup qualification dead in the face in my life and really have a solid shot at it. And here they are in first place in the group, 6 games remaining in World Cup qualification, 2 more windows, and we don't have to play Mexico again, and we don't play the US on the road again. This has potential to be something beautiful for Canada. And every single player who stepped on the pitch for Canada in these 2 matches was absolutely incredible. Alphonso Davies, great as ever. Jonathan David scores in the first game against Costa Rica. Kyle Larin scores in the second game twice against Mexico, the 2 big strikers stepping up big. Kamal Miller, Alistair Johnson, both absolutely fantastic as always. Richard Loretta, fantastic as always. Everyone was fantastic as always. Sam Adekugbe, that game against Costa Rica, was the best I have ever seen him play for Canada. And then against Mexico, he's fantastic again. This window, he stepped up to another level I didn't think he had. He was fantastic, and he caps it off with the most famous Canadian celebration, a moment that we are going to see replayed for years to come. That dive into the snowbank after Kyle Larin's second goal, the snowbank celebration, possibly the picturesque moment of this Canadian World Cup qualifying campaign. I think if Canada does end up qualifying for Qatar, the moment that will encapsulate this whole campaign the best is Adekugbe jumping into the snowbank. That was beautiful. And Canada now, according to the live FIFA World Rankings, is up to 40th in the world, which ties our previous high, which was set back in 1996. Canada is a half-decent January window away from hitting our highest FIFA World Ranking ever And that's just absolutely insane. And in ELO, we're 28th in the world. This is a team that has the FIFA World Ranking of a team that should be in the World Cup. It's just absolutely fantastic. This is a team that in 2014 was down at 122nd in the FIFA World Rankings, and now we're 40th. Now, despite the fantastic play these two games, the absolute utter resilience, the beauty of Canada coming out to the frozen wasteland, essentially, of the Azteca in that second game, and against Costa Rica was pretty cool too. But just that snow game against Mexico, they come out there, two fantastic results in Edmonton, two fantastic results in the cold. The stadium choice ended up playing in our favor because we won, but I always have to look at, there's a couple things that can always be worked on. You can never be content in sports. And the two big things that stood out for me that were cause for concern in this match, in this window, was, first off, Alphonso Davies getting subbed out in around the 80th minute. Both games defending a 1-goal lead in the first one and a 2-goal lead in the second one against Mexico. John Herdman subs out Alphonso Davies with about 10-ish minutes left to go. And immediately afterwards, Canada gets pretty penned into their own half, and the opposing team in both games had some solid chances, and Mexico even scored. Now, I get that maybe you want to not have Alphonso Davies out there defending a tight 1-goal lead when you know it's a time where the other team's going to be penned in. But taking him off the field, all of a sudden you have a guy who is very capable of pushing the ball up the field, off the field. You've a guy who runs the counterattack. Now all of a sudden the other team isn't as afraid of a counterattack and is way more willing to throw everyone forward. Alphonso Davies taking him off late. Both games, it did not look like a good decision by John Herdman. And I honestly do think, especially in a big game against Mexico, Alphonso Davies should be playing the full 90 minutes. I think both times when we subbed him off, the team just all of a sudden caved in a little bit and got a bunch of shots against us. So Alphonso Davies subbing him off with 10 minutes left. Neither game it worked really. I'm shocked he did it a second time against Mexico because it did not work at all the first time. It didn't work against Mexico. The second need for concern I have, Daniil Henry. So, Steven Vittoria starts the first game, great. He got a yellow card though, which was kind of sus to say the least. And then the second game against Mexico, Daniil Henry gets the start, gets an early yellow card, and then 30-ish minutes in gets subbed off. Now, didn't look like an injury to me, and Daniil Henry was not looking very good at all against Mexico in the 30-ish minutes he was on the pitch. Kamal Miller, Alistair Johnston both looked solid. Kamal Miller bailed Henry out a couple times when Henry was on the pitch, and then after he got the yellow, it looked like if you kept Henry on there, he was going to get a second yellow. Like, he did not look good at all. He looked shaky. He looked like he was either going to give up a goal or a yellow card foul really quick. So 35 minutes in, John Herdman sums it out for Steven Vittoria. Vittoria was solid the rest of the match. But that middle of the back three guy, the crucial center back that you look for, Steven Vittoria is great in that role. Daniil Henry hasn't been it. Vittoria now is on another yellow card, one more, and he's suspended a game. Having to trust Daniil Henry in another big game, unless he magically steps his game up after Mexico, that's scary. We need someone more consistent. Daniil Henry can have good games, but Daniil Henry can also have disastrous games. Love the guy, big player for the Canadian national team, has put up a lot of appearances for us, but I'm not sure with the level of caliber that this team is playing at, I'm not sure Daniil Henry's the guy. The problem is, at the moment, we really don't have anyone else for the center back role because, you know, Cornelius hasn't really developed the way we'd like him to. None of the TFC guys have developed the way we'd like them to. It's kind of a problem on center back, and that's the one area of the pitch that we've been saying was going to be an issue from the get-go. The center back, Kamal Miller and Alistair Johnston, despite being more traditional fullbacks, have filled into the back three roles very, very well. But behind Steven Vittoria, the true center back or center of the back three role, there's just a big drop off between Vittoria and Henry. And hopefully either Daniil Henry can pick up his game or one of those young guys will develop into a guy who can take over that second center back role from Daniil Henry, because against Mexico, Daniil Henry wasn't it, and he had to get subbed out 35 minutes into the game as a result of that. So it's going to be really interesting to see in January what goes on with that, especially considering that is a 3-match window, so it's going to be a bit more cramped. But despite those two minor issues, Canada comes out against, I can't believe I'm saying this. Canada comes out on top of Mexico, just the 4th time ever in 38 senior national team games that Canada beats Mexico, and the first time it happens in World Cup qualifying since the 70s. Just, like, I actually almost cried at the field. I could not believe what I witnessed. That was special. This team is special. This Canada World Cup qualifying campaign is special. 2 more windows, 2 more home games. Rumor has it the next home game now might be at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. That's an interesting choice. Has to do with travel though. Traveling to Honduras, then Vancouver, then I believe it's El Salvador. That's a lot more flying than Honduras to Hamilton to El Salvador, so that might be the reason. Still though, kind of sucks if it's not Vancouver, that people in Vancouver aren't going to get a chance to see the national team in their home city. So I feel like I've been less up this video. I feel like this is just such a surreal moment for me that my instinctive reaction to it is to like lower down, and like it's a tears of sadness moment. It's so incredible that I've surpassed the yelling and have gone back to just bliss. And for a sports team, I'm a Leafs fan. A sports team has never made me feel pure bliss. And right now, that's where I am with this Canada team. This is incredible. Let's enjoy the ride while it lasts. So that does it for this video. As always, if you'd like to hit like, if you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, link is down below in the description. And shout out to the Voyagers. Not just because my membership shirt for this year showed up today. This is a great shirt though, 25-year anniversary of the Voyagers. Kind of weird that I've now joined the Canadian supporters group, and the supporters group is older than I am. I'm sure I made someone feel really old with that comment, I apologize. But shout out to the Voyagers for just the fantastic few days, several days of events they had going on in Edmonton. I went to the first meetup on the Thursday night before the Costa Rica game at first round, packed out a bar in downtown Edmonton on a night where the national team wasn't even playing. It was the pre-game, the day before the game for the national team. That was amazing, great experience. The supporters section, they had it perfectly set up, both games with the flags, great displacement throughout the section, fantastic. Pre-games I didn't go to, but they looked fun. Voyagers, fantastic job at this round of games in Edmonton, and I can't wait to see what the people in charge of this group have in store for our future last 2 home World Cup qualifying games. Because now, more than ever, the Canadian national team needs the fans behind them. And if Edmonton games are any indication, we're getting behind them.